Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our Amud Yomi Shiur. We are here again. Metzia Hashem will have the most amazing Shiur. Bezos Hashem. Everyone is welcome here in the Avos Shalom Torah Center, YouTube, and Torah Anytime. Listeners and viewers are all welcome to the Amud Yomi. We are in the depth, in the middle of the sugya of Iska. Iska. Iska is something that's forbidden in halacha. What does Iska mean? We'll repeat again, yet again. We'll repeat and review. Iska means when two people make a deal between them. I am the investor, I bring in all the money, and you have to do all the work. That's a halachic problem. Why is that a halachic problem? Why is that? We're eventually going to split half-half, right? I bring all the money, you do all the work. Half-half seems to be fair. Apparently, it's not fair. Why isn't it fair? Because the reason why you work for me, if I'm the investor, is because I brought the money. That's why you work on my part too, right? In other words, I brought you 20 pairs of shoes, very, very fancy, very nice, and eventually they'll make millions. Or I invested, I don't know, 10,000 shekels in a startup, right? Okay, and eventually it will be sold to the Chinese for 50 million. Then we'll make 25 million each. Why are you working on my 25 million? Because you're nice? No. Because we're friendly? No. Because I brought the money. I brought the money is a problem. Why? Because the money that I brought is milva. Why is the money that I brought milva? Because if you don't come up with a minimum, if you don't at least give him back the minimum 10,000 I gave you, then I'll charge it from you. You are achroi. You're responsible, even if it happened against your will. Be honest. That's why it's a milva. If you do work for your malve for no extra money, that is at least mechzik ribbis. It's at least a ribbis derabanan. Thank you. And really, this is an issue of ribbis, and therefore that's a problem. What do you do in order to avoid that? There were different solutions. Generally speaking, the solution is to give the worker another kind of incentive or another kind of salary, even a symbolic one, in order to sort of overcome the idea that he only does it because it's alvo. No, he has now another incentive to do it, another source of, another reason to do it, and that is the other money that he gets. That's in short. Now, one of the cases we spoke about, let's dive in now and summarize the past as we go into the future of this today's Amud. Tono abonon. Yeah, a braise. A sham be'em lechaveroi. What's a sham be'em lechaveroi? A person brought an animal to his friend in order that his friend should breed it. It's my animal. I live in Bet Shemesh. I have no idea to breed animals like horses. Somebody gave me that little horse or the little sheep or whatever, and I want that animal to grow to be a gadol, to be a choshuv, a behema that eventually will both be able to sell and split the gains, the profits. And I was sham. What does it mean sham? I assessed it. We assessed it together, and I told you, listen, that little calf, that little behemah is now worth, let's say, 1,000 shekels, which means if it goes less than 1,000, you got to compensate, right? Now go ahead and breed it, feed it, make sure that it grows nicely, and that's what you do. How do we avoid ribbis? By the way, what do I have to give him? I have to provide the food. I have to provide for the fodder of the animal, and possibly also give him something small for the work that he does, because he feeds the animal and tends to the animal. The question is, ad mosei chayv l'tapel bo. Up until what point is a mechuyev to take care of it? Which means, the question is, good morning. The question is, up until what point is he mechuyev to take care of the animal? What's the question? The question is as follows. I'm the one working hard here, right? Let's say switch roles. I'm the one in the farm, in the kibbutz, and I'm actually working hard on the animal. And at some point, I'd say, I've had enough. I want to split. In my eyes, the animal is big enough, so it seems to me, right? Let's say it's a year old, yeah? I think it's big enough, good enough for me. I want to split now. Why? I'm working hard. I don't have koch to work so hard anymore. As far as I'm concerned, let's split it already, even though it's not fully grown. It didn't yet reach maturity. Get what I'm saying? It didn't yet reach maturity, and nevertheless, I say, Gomarnu, let's split. I want out of the game. I want out of that said agreement. I want to get from who? From the partner. So, and up until what point is the mechuyev to take care of it? Sumchus Oimer says Sumchus Batoinois, if it's a donkey, a female donkey, 18 chodesh, 18 months, which means up until 18 months, it's not called fully grown, and therefore none of the sides can actually back out, right? We portray the picture in which the worker wants to back out, and soon we'll explain why. The goidros means one of two things. Goidros in the Gemara and Bava Basra and also Rashi, goidros means the no, like the sheep and the tzoin, the sheep, the goats, yeah. Then chavdalid chodesh. They need more time to mature from babyhood up until 24 months. According to some Rishonim, it means it was given in babyhood. Meaning, if you got an adult, it doesn't have to be 18 months necessarily. Yeah, but if it's a baby, then everyone agrees you cannot back out and split and say, okay, I'm done with that. Yeah, you cannot do that until the animal reaches 18 when it's a toinus, if it's a donkey, 24 if it's a goidros. Now, some people say goidros are not the sheep, but it means horses. It means female horses, mares, maybe. So we're treating different, dealing with different types of animals here. Now, okay, so that's a standard. Unless known otherwise, of course, don't ask me what happened if they agreed. Of course, up to their agreement. But the default, unless they agreed otherwise, is the basic agreement. The partnership should continue up until 18 months by a donkey or 24 months when it's a smaller animal. And then it's called mature enough, and then you can split if you want, you can break off. However, let's say one of the people, let's now portray a case in which the worker wants to back off and say, enough. His friend can stop him. His friend, in this case, the investor can say, no, we started it off, and I want to continue until it's matured, until it's 18 months or 24 months. Aval, yeah, however, okay, aval, the care you have to give in 1 year is not the same as the other year. And that's like a but. That's however, although aval, yeah, although you should be aware of the fact that taking care of an animal is not exactly the same level of work throughout the time. Rashi has very interesting two opposite pshatim. Let's follow Rashi's first pshat. Rashi says at the beginning, when the animal is young, yeah, the animal is young, doesn't require so much food, right? He needs a little bit of food and a little bit of care. When the animal grows bigger and wilder and eats more, I need to feed it more. I need to look after it better. It needs more food, and I need to just feed it more and more. By the way, of course, there's the other side of saying just the opposite. When the animal is small, it's such a tiny creature, I have to tend to it more. When it grows, it can manage on its own. Chavrusa and I were joking, it's like by human beings. There's always a question, what's harder to raise? Who's harder to raise? A little baby that screams all night long, or a teenager that's not home all night long? Yeah, you have sleepless nights when they scream in the next room, or sleepless night when they're in the park alone. So I'm saying you don't know what they're doing. So that's a shaila, okay? Now let's stick to... No, he doesn't have a mother. Oh, the mother will discuss later. Very good. Let's say it's without the mother. The mother will discuss. Nice. No, it doesn't have a mother. It's old enough. It's past the mamish babyhood stage. Yeah, right. The first year, but a few months. It's the mother is out of the equation. Nice, but no. Okay. So therefore, what? Wait a second. So what does it have to do with anything? Oh, the pshat is the first year. Yeah, the one. Let's say the first year is easier. Let's go with that. Okay. The first year, the farmer was very happy. He has a little shepsele. Yeah, maybe also the mother at the beginning. Later, it only needs a little bit of, the small food here and there, like a small amount of food. And it's a little kid. Later, I have this mifletzes. I have this big horse, big cow here. It's much harder. My back's sore. My back is breaking. The second year, who wants out? Of course, the farmer. It's too hard. The balabai says no. The balabai says he's already saying, no, chaval, why are you stopping now? We're that close to make the exit, as we say. Yeah, the exit, the startup has an exit. Finally, we're going to sell that behemoth to the Chinese for $10 million. Yeah. In other words, yeah, the farmer the second year wants out already. He's working too hard. The balabais is not working anything, thinks of the money. He wants to stay. Halacha is, unless you agreed otherwise, you have to stay in the agreement all the way to the end of it's 18 or 24 months. Frek the Gemara, aval maika oma. What does it say but? It's because it's not but. The reason why you can't get out of the agreement is because the tipul is not the same. You can't, in other words, you can't back out when you feel like it. When it was easy work for you, you said, okay, lama lo. When it gets hard, you're backing off. Are you a spoiled child? What does that have to do? You can't do that, right? It's getting hard for you. All of a sudden, you're out of the agreement, and I'm losing. The mashkia, the investor, says the Gemara, Ella, you must have the different gears of the real gears of the Bryce is Lefi, not but, because, since, because she'eino dome tipulo shel shona zu letipulo shel shona acheres. Because the tipul, the care that's required in, let's say, according to Rashi Pshat, the second year is harder and the first year is easier. Also, it's not stam unfair, it's mamish gezela. Why? Because when it was, we made an agreement of half-half, right? Leave ribbis out of the picture right now. Lamaisa, yeah, even stam between two goyim. Half-half means half-half. Just like we're going to split half-half, 1 million me, 1 million two, the work also has to be split half-half. You can't only have the easy work, right? And when it gets the hard work, I'm stuck and now I have to do the hard work. Yeah, if I really want to get to the mature stage, I have to leave my office in Tel Aviv, go and start raising the animal. When it gets harder, you abandon me. That's not fair. And therefore, you have to stick with through thick and thin. You have to continue taking care of the animal when it's hard and when it's easy, even when it's hard. Tani idach, another brisa that actually says a similar idea. Tani idach, Hasham, again, the one who assessed the animal and requires that the animal should be, the minimum amount should always be given to him. And hopefully when there is an exit success, they'll go half-half. Hasham behema lechaveroi, the friend has to breed the animal and the investor sits in the corner. Ad mosei chayv letapel bevlodois, up until when? Oh, here comes a different story. And we're going to get to that story deeper later. You mentioned the mother and baby. How much or how long do you have to take care of the babies of the invested animal? Which means, how did you ever think about the second generation? Mazel tov. There's one female that they are investing in, meaning Reuven brought a nice little female, baby to the house of the kibbutznik, the moshavnik, to the farm. The kibbutznik's supposed to take care of that female, make it nice, big, and fancy. How do they work out the agreement? You do all the work, I brought all the money. Eventually, we'll split half-half, right? And of course, you're going to get more. In order to outdo ribbis, what we'll do, I'll give you money. I'll give you some money for the fact you take care of that baby animal, which eventually grows to a beautiful young woman, a young animal. Yeah, that is all very nice. What happens if, and that's actually good news, our animal, Mazel Tov, she found the shidduch. Yeah, Oidi Shama. And what? Now she has babies. Let's say it's an animal that has more than one baby in one birth, not like a cow, whatever, I don't know, whatever, a cat, whatever. Or it has a few babies. Yeah, it has a few babies, 4 babies together. Yeah, littered 4 babies. So now those babies, in the eyes of halacha, before we go into the nitty-gritty, generally speaking, those babies, what are their status? Are they also now, do we have to renew, or is it an automatically renewed subscription, like in the computer? Yeah. In other words, do we now say he has to tend for those babies also for half-half? Or do we say that those babies are the sechar? Yeah, in other words, just like if we sell the animal, we go half-half, right, for the 2 million each, so too, that animal, that prized animal, which is the baby of both of us, my money and in your work, now it had, let's say, 4 babies, to make it simple, together. I don't know which kind of animal, 4 animals together, I don't know, a cat. And what? 2 for me, 2 for you. Let's say, and that is more what the Mishnah Vayter, the next Mishnah, tends to say. The 4 animals, let's say, gave birth to 4 shepselach together, not so common. Yeah, 2 shepselach for me, 2 for you. Can I call in and say, hey, take your shepselach now? I have mine 2 are by me, the 2 that belong to me are here. Yours 2 you take home. You can't do that because, as you said, the babies need their mother. The guy who lives in Tel Aviv, the investor, what is going to do 2 baby animals without their mother? So if you, the farmer, take care of the mother, although the babies conceptually should be split 2 and 2, but there's a limit because you can't really split them and tears running down my eyes. Yeah, separate the mother from the baby at birth. Yeah, so it's included that up to a certain point, yeah, they still have to be with the mother without you charging extra. It's just part of the deal. It's part of the deal. You go to a restaurant, you order a steak. Obviously, a plate comes with a steak. It doesn't come in thin air. Don't pay extra for the plate. Maybe you do. We don't realize. I say, yeah, it's part of the service. Part of the service. If you know babies will come, because you know animals tend to have babies, yeah, and mimela, you go half-half, those babies, before we split them, which is another issue going to be later, at the first months at least, or first period of their life, they should stay with the farmer, with the worker, and he should take care of them without getting paid extra. It's part of his half-half. Now, up until what? 1 second, please. I'm respectfully asking to keep your questions for when we have a break. Tanya Idach comes the Bryce and tells me, Hasham behema lechaveroi, a person who assesses a behema, bekitzer, they have an iska agreement of a behema, as we explained. Ad mosai chayv l'tapel bevlodos. Up until what point is he obligated, as part and parcel of the deal, to take care of the baby animals? Bedaka, for a daka, what's a daka? Behema dakas, like sheep, goats, things like that. Lamid yoim, only 30 days. After 30 days, we separate the mother from the baby, and you are more than welcome. I'll give you a phone call. Hey, 30 days are up, deadline. Take your little shepsala of 30 days. I'll take mine. I'll keep mine. You take yours. And we split as friends, and very nice. Ubegasa chamishim yoim. Gasa, a bigger animal, such as a cow, or a trefa one, a chamor, a donkey, 50 days requires more. By the way, Rashi says this is nothing to do. I mean, I'm sure it has to do with the reality. It has to do with the makor, the source of 30 days and 50 days is based on bechoros. A bechor, if I have a bechor animal, firstborn animal, who does it belong to? To the Kohen. Belongs to the Kohen, right? Belongs to the Kohen right from birth. I don't have to be makdishit, only with the Rabbanon. Yeah, it's born holy, born kodesh for the Kohen. Can I give it to the animal, to the Kohen right away? No. It stays with the mother for either 30 days if it is a little one, 50 days if it's a big animal. Now, Rabbi Yossi argues and says, Bedaka, just the other way around. No. Bedaka gimel chodoshim. A daka, small animal, needs more time than even the gasa. The small one needs 3 months. Yeah, that's at least 10 days more than your version of gasa. Why? Because the little one, even after it stops nursing, so to speak, yeah, it still needs more care. Dafka, the little animal, the sheep or the goats. Why? What's so difficult there? First wide line, by the way, that's we are if you're looking. Because its teeth are very small, very thin, and you have to really dice the food, cut the food very small, and dice it for the animal. It's more work. It's a giving baby food. You know, before there was Gerber invented in America, people would have to, really cut the food very small and start, blending and doing and meshing and smashing. It's harder. That's what he holds. But Lamaise, everyone agrees that up to a certain point, then it doesn't belong, it will be split with the two of them. But at the beginning, the first period, it's part and parcel with the mother. I'll give an example, I'll be with you soon. The Gemara in Ksuba says, and that's halacha, a woman, right, supposed to be sustained by her husband, right? The husband is mechuyv b'mizanis, chiyuv d'oraisa, chiyuv ksuba, right? What about the children? Does the father have to support his children? Well, only with the Rabbanon. Takonas usha, there was takona of usha, that the father, ksubas memtes amud beis, it says there the father has to support his children. Now, from the age of now before takonas usha, up to godless, up to the age of 18, whatever. Before takonas usha, even before that takona, before the takonas usha, the age of 6, you can tell your kid quit school. They would love it. And go sell newspapers in the street or clean the chimneys, right? That's the British version. Yeah, go clean the chimneys of London, go sell newspaper in the streets, and good luck to you. And leave me alone and buy yourself your new laptop and your new phone with your own money and your food and clothes also. I think that's a great agreement. But only from the age of 6, I'm joking, yeah? Only from the age of 6 onwards. Why before the age of 6 can't I tell the kid to go make money? Maybe they can make money being a clown. The answer is up to the age of 6, a child is part of the mother. Just like I'm in mechuyav in the mother's mezoinus, doesn't matter if she's 16 or 96, the husband is mechuyav in her money. A child of 6, and that's what the Meforshim explain, is kilu included in the mother's mezoinus. Yeah, because up to the age of 6 is still, koruch basra, he's part of her story, he eats from her, he's with her, and that's why. Similarly, a behema with the mother also is part of parcel with the mother, only after, 6 years here, up until Shlosha Chodoshim, 50 days, 30 days, it's part of the thing. Yeah, question time, question break there. Kan va'elach, the story's not over. Mikan va'elach, which means what happens if the baby animal overstayed its welcome? In other words, the baby just stayed there. So Machlokes Rishonim, I'm following some of the Rishonim. Let's say there was no clear agreement about what's going to happen with the babies. And boom, 50 days are up. Let's say it's 50 days for Be'ema Gasa. Everyone agrees to that. Okay, Mazel Tov, baby was born to the cow. 1 day, 2 days, 50 days. Was born in Pesach, now it's Shavuos. Okay, what happens in day 51? Nobody called nobody. Let's keep it simple because that's how one of the Rishonim says, remember who? None of the sides actually communicated, good, disorganized, unorganized people. And now the behemoth just, or let's say there are four animals, there were four animals, four babies born together, let's say. And now I, the farmer, the kibbutznik, I keep tending to them. And who's going to split them? Well, two of them anyhow belong to me. Why? Why? 1 second. Why? Because two of them, we said conceptually, the babies born to our common animals are really common to the invested animal, is as if we sold the animal, each one got $1 million for that horse, let's say, right? So now if it has babies, it's like money. It's something that came from the animal. So now if let's say we have four of them, two for me, two for you. However, well, excuse me, I kept looking after yours too, right? And you have to realize we didn't yet split, we didn't yet decide that Yuppie Doopie go to me and Louis and Jewy go to you. We didn't yet decide that. All four of them will potentially be split when you finally decide to leave your leather chair in Tel Aviv and come to the kibbutz to pick your animals. Then we'll have to split and assess if it's 2 against 2, if it's right assessment. We'll discuss that too, and then we'll split it. Meanwhile, I'm tending to 4 animals, and it's different to the agreement before. Why? Up until now, we spoke about what? Except for one case we had before. What did we speak up until now? Not partnership, right? There's one guy who owns the whole investment, the other guy does all the work. Now we are partners, like if you remember the case of the Oris, which we had before. I know the two of those, Shene Kinderlach, Disa Kinderlach, two of them will belong to me and are already mine. Already mine. We don't know which one, but two of them are already mine because that's already as if I went to the store and I got $1 million, right? And two of them are yours and I'm taking care of yours. How much should I get for taking care of yours? Also half. So if we have 4, potentially 2 of them belong to me, they're completely mine, and half of your 2 belong to me also, because we are back to now renewing, because there was no other verbal agreement. It's like in the internet. Yeah, your subscription is renewed automatically, right? 2023. In other words, if you didn't come here, there's no communication. We assume that besides the 2 that belong to me, because the revach, the profit, the other 2 that belong to you completely. But I'm the only one taking care of them while doing a business over there. Therefore, I'll get half-half. The question is if there's no ribbis on that. Let's see what the Gemara says. Let's reread again from the end of the wide line. 1 second. Mikan va'elach, mikan va'elach. Noitel, from that point of what? They reached a certain maturity. I'm not supposed to look after them for free anymore. That's shot. Your free trial is over. Yeah, that free period of me taking care of the baby as part of the mother, it's not such a little baby anymore. It's 50 days old. Noitel mechza shaloi. Half belongs to him completely because it's the rebach he made. It's like we sold it to the high-tech company. The chetzi mechza, heard the words? Half of the half b'shel chaveroi. The other 2 animals, if we know which ones they are what? Potential belonging to the friend. I am the one taking care of them. Therefore, I'm going to get a half. Because that's the old agreement. It's your 2 Shep Salach. I'm doing all the work. We'll go half-half. The question which each and every person in the room should be asking, ribbis? What about ribbis? Because Lamaisa, the old agreement meant that something has to break the balance, tip the balance in the favor of the worker to avoid ribbis. What about over here? Fascinating, says Rashi. We sweated a lot on this yesterday. I'll tell you the maskona. Rashi, Ritva, Marsho, big party over here. Why is there no ribbis? Why don't we say, the Gemara doesn't say that those 2 animals, right, which belong completely to the Baal Habais, and I'm doing the work, we go half-half, great. Because Lamaisa, I'm chroy on them, I'm responsible for them. True, if I'm responsible for them, then really there should be what? Should be a halvo. And if I take care of them only for half-half, I'm taking care of yours, of your part in it. Why should should we get more than half-half? Something to tip the balance. The answer is like this. As we said yesterday, remember what we said yesterday? We said yesterday, if I have a whole group of oxen and you bring your ox to my chevra, the work is really minimal. The work is really minimal, right? It's another kid into the gun. I can tell you, I teach privately. If I teach privately, one person, one on one, I charge a certain amount of money. If two, three people, I don't charge that same amount for each person. Another one to the chevra will pay less. Let's say again, yeah. Okay, so now let's say now we have here that, what did we say yesterday? If you join another chamor, another short to the party, what do you do then? You do have to pay, but that payment can be, according to Rav, something up in the air, right? The problem is that once they reach a third, if you reviewed yesterday's year, once they reach a third, I can give you something which is more like a lottery ticket, chances to win, because the work you do is minimal. Says the Maharsha, listen to this. Here it's even better. Here it is mamish the very, very same animal. It's mamish the same animal. If I have 2 or 3 oxen and I'm adding yours, it's minimal work. Here it's below minimal because half of it is mamish mine. That's why the Maharsha says, and the Meforshim of the Maharsha says, it's not like they split 2 and 2. I have 4, let's say, chicken here, or 4 kids over here, or 4 something. All of them are potentially mine. I'm taking care of each and every one of them because half of them are completely mine. I'm a shutaf. It's not even a group plus your 4 and 1 you brought. It's Gelu Mamish, the both shutim in each and every fiber of the animal, each and every molecule, DNA, until what? Until we decide to split. In that case, we say that's not called extra work, bichlal. And therefore, there's no ribbis, because you're not working for me at all. It's not because I'm the big bad investor, the Malva ribbis. You are working because each and every animal before the split belongs to you. And that's how I have to make an ukimta here, that each animal wasn't yet split. And if they're split 2 and 2 together, there would be an issue of ribbis, because it's your animals, which maybe in the future I'll get. That's not good. I have to get something now already. That's what we say up until now. Let's continue 2 more lines. Give me 1 second. Rav Menashe bar Gada, just a story that describes the halacha and adds 1 more halacha. Second wide line. Rav Menashe Samichtes Amud Aleph Bava Metzia Shiur Amud Yomi Avas Shalom. Rav Menashe bar Gada Shokal Metzia Shaloi. Rav Menashe bar Gada had such a story, mamish. Rav Menashe bar Gada and Amoira, what did he do? He was working in the farm. He took half of his after they were born, the babies, the chetzi mechza b'shel chaveroi, and he took the half of his friend. Half. Let's say there are 4 animals. How many did he take? All in all, 3. His half plus half of 2. That's 3. Also, they came to Abaye. Why? Because the partner wasn't happy. The partner, the investor, wasn't happy with that splitting, and soon we'll know why. Omar Abaye says to Rav Menashe, Man polaglach, who allowed you to split? Which means splitting a partnership is not so simple, because who told you that the assessment you made is right? The partner, what does he claim? He took 2, let's say it's 2 against 2, make it simpler. Who says maybe the one you took, the 2 you took are nicer? Not all 2 people are alike, and not 2 chicken are alike, and not this. You just, out of your own mind arbitrarily, you decided to take 2 out of 4. No, I want a professional assessor. Either I should have been, and we decided together, or shutus should be split in BSD in front of 3 people. You can't split shutus and decide I took the equal half. Who says your half is equal? Unless it's something very simple like money, we'll see later. Who says the 2 shepsalach you took, I think they're fatter and nicer? Excuse me, bring them back. And Abaye supports the other side of the Rav Menashe bar Gada's opponent. The oid, another reason why Bechlali shouldn't split, even if they're equal, Mokum Shinagu Legadelhu. The place where you live is a place where people have the minhag to be megadel for free for longer. Now, I don't know if it means the first 50 days or above, but in that place, part and parcel of the deal of raising the mother was to raise the babies along for nothing. As we said, when baby is very small. But not, it says in the Mishnah, Mokum Shinagu Legadel Yagdilu. We will see later in the Mishnah, today or tomorrow, a place where the minhag is to breed the animal, the little animal, until it grows bigger, even though it's the 2nd generation, the heskem, the agreement renews automatically until the animal is big. I don't know how big is big, and therefore you split it too early. So even if you split it with a measuring rod and with a calculator and with the weighing scales, it's all very nice. Still, it was too early. The place where you live is the place where the minhag is to keep the babies for longer with this, or even let's say either for free when they're small or not for free. half, but you can't, even a half, you can't just break whenever you want, right? As we said before, right? You can't just stop the agreement when you feel like. There's a minimum amount of time that it should stay by the worker, and you split it too early, and that's why the whole split is wrong. Bring it back, bring those two animals back, or bring money back, or deal with it. Question time. Yes. Yeah, Baruch was first. Weiter. Okay, weiter. Hanu Trei Kutoi, story time. Let's go. Let's get moving. Hanu Trei Kutoi. Yeah, 4 lines from bottom of the page, or 5 lines maybe, towards the end, middle of the wide lines. Hanu Trei Kutoi. There were 2 Kutim, according to the Meforshim, there were Jews. They were halacha observant, they were frum Jews. They happened to live in Kuta, not the regular Kutim, the bad guys who may be Jewish, may not be Jewish. At the end, word of the Zara. No, these are nice Erlich Yidden. They happen to live in Kuta. You know, like you have Erlich people in Tel Aviv, Erlich people in Kuta. The Ovid Iska Badi Adodi. They made an Iska Badi Adodi. Now, this is nothing to do with ribbis. Calm down. Iska was Poshut Shutfus. They made a partnership, regular partnership. Half the money, half the work, half everything. Very, very, very simple. Ozil Chad Minayu. One of them went. Halik Zuzi Belo Daite de Chavrei. Once the deal was they really made it big. Now they had 2 million. One of them took 1 million of himself out of the kitty, out of the cash, out of the pot. He took half for himself. Without his friend's knowledge, he broke off by simply taking half the million, transferring to his account, and that's it. Also, Commander of Papa, they came to Rav Papa because the partner that was not consulted with was angry. Why? Maybe he thought, I want to reinvest it. I want to continue the partnership. You split the partnership without letting me know. Why do you run away? Like Lovan said, Lama barachto. You went and you split without letting me know. Omer Lei says Rav Papa. Now Rav Papa sided with the person who split. The one who broke off, Rav Papa says he's right. Mind of Kamina, what do you really care? At the end of the day, leave all your emotions alone or being left alone. He's not your wife, you know. What do you care when push comes to shove? What's the difference? Omar Rav Nachman. That's what Rav Nachman the Dayan said. Zuzi kemande pligidanu. Money is already as if it's split already. Because if you have a wad of cash of 2 million, it's exactly the same. Whichever 2 million you choose are exactly the same. It's not a mixture of pounds and dollars and shekels with questions or banknotes and checks and this. No, this is cash of, 1,000 zuz. All zuzim look alike, smell alike, and feel alike. It's split half. There's no quality here, as opposed to animals, for example. If I have 4 cows, maybe Joey is nicer than Louis, Dupi Louis. Each one may be more quality, less quality, wilder, better, fatter, thinner. Money is money, doesn't have smell. It's all the same, so leave him alone and stop being so petty. That was Psak Halacha number 1. Leshana Babi Yerushalayim. Next year, they again partnered. Okay, he didn't give up on his partner, the betray. Yeah, it wasn't betrayed, and again they made business together. Zabun Chama Badi Adodi. They bought wine together. Wine is not money already. Kam Idach. Now came the other guy. Meaning, you have to remember that last year's plaintiff is now the one who complained about the split. Says, it's okay to split halachically. I'm splitting. The wine was already divided to different chaviyos, different barrels. Let's say there are, nice round number 10. Let's say there were 10 chaviyos of wine. Okay. Now he took 5 barrels of wine and said, bye. Yeah, nice being your friend. I took my 5 chaviyos, Erev Pesach, and you'll stay with your 5 chaviyos. Now the one left behind, with his tongue out, with the leg between, with the tail between his legs, his one says, "Hey, why did you split without letting me know?" Also, Kamedo of Papa. Again, they came to the same diner of Papa. Omer Lei, now he's upset with the one who split, which last year was one who complained about the splitting. He's the one who's splitting now. And he says, Man Polaglach, who allowed you to be cholik? Who allowed you to split without your partner's knowledge? Omer Lei, so now he said very bitterly, the one who twice lost the case. Last year he was the one who complained about splitting money, right? And he was on the wrong. Now he's the one splitting himself the wine, and again he's on the wrong. Because splitting wine is usser without your friend's knowledge, while splitting money is okay without your friend's knowledge. Omer Lei, listen to this, don't laugh. Kachazina, I can see that this dying, the bossa didi kaosi, as he's after me. I see he's picking on me. I see, this Rabbi, Rav Papa, he always likes to paskin against me. Maybe it's the color of my skin. Maybe it's the party I vote for. Maybe, I don't know why, color of my kippah, my tie. He doesn't like me that died. He's always against me. And so he genuinely thought, the victim. Obviously, we understand that's wrong. Says Rav Papa, no, sorry, he spoke to him. The boso didika osimar. Mar, is like a way to speak to a person in a covetic way, third person. I can see, dear Diane, that you always pick on me. Please explain, like what's going on here. You don't like me. Amar Rav Papa, says Rav Papa, unbelievable. Samachtes Amud Beis. Ki I gavna, in such a case, which means there's a big discussion in Sanhedrin and other places. Do the Yonim have to explain to the Balei Din, to the litigants, do they have to explain the reason for the Psak Din? How authoritative can the Dayanim be? The Dayanim have to be California style, North Korea style. How much do the Dayanim have to explain their Psak to the Balei Din? And how much can they say, this is our Psak, live with it? So it's a discussion. Says Rav Papa, ki I gavna, when the person outright with the pain of his heart comes and says, I feel betrayed, I feel that the system is unjust, in this case, you surely have to tell him the reason. You surely have to explain why you are not after him, you're not picking on him, you're not bullying him. You have to really explain that it doesn't exactly, Tysus goes into, doesn't mean that otherwise you don't have to, but in this case, you definitely do have to. And now Rav Papa is explaining to him the difference. He's explaining to the poor victim the difference between splitting money and splitting wine, which I think we can all understand. But let Rav Papa talk. Zuzi mishakil tavi v'shavik chaseri. When he split the zuzim, as opposed to today, I give an example: $2 million in one envelope. That's a big envelope. They all look the same, smell the same, and they're exactly the same. In the olden days, today it's also sometimes true about old notes. Some zuzim were better than others for some people, and some people prefer the other zuzim. Some zuzim, were lighter in weight, and they were easier to carry. Cool little credit card we have today, right? Very light in the pocket. We don't have to carry wallet anymore. And some people preferred them. Some people preferred the heavy zuzim. They preferred because they were better. I didn't get really started, because they're better to be shoikel, like silver or heavy metals against them. Because right, there's more, whatever, right, the actual values by the weight. He said Mishkol and Yosef, whatever. Lamaisa, they're both officially called zuzim. Lamaisa, now he's asking him a question. Did he take the good zuzim versus the bad zuzim? Yeah, is that so? Omer loy, no, I have to admit that all the zuzim were the same. Our zuzim were all the same zuzim. We had 100 zuz, all the same style, exactly. Same size, same thing, everything. No, he was honest. He didn't take better or worse. They're all the same, and he took half. Chamra, now Omer Le comes Rav Papa in his explanation to the victim. Omer Le Chamra kulal miyadi. Everybody knows about wine. Dika de bosim. Some wine is tastier. Dika de loy bosim. Right? Wine. Once you split the wine to 5 barrels here and 5 barrels over there, then mimela, it's not all the same wine. Some wine is older, newer. Some wine has better chovis, not so good. In other words, the wine tastes differently. Different. It's different. Not all wine is the same. And therefore, when you split, you should have at least done it in his presence. Preferably, if there is not, preferably, halach and shulchan aruch. When you want to split from your partner, and we're talking about splitting that's not so simple: animals, wine, food, things like that, furniture. Yeah, he takes the chair, she takes the the divorce jokes are not so funny. He takes the chair, she takes the extension cord, whatever. Yeah, you have to assess. I'm sure they do that in divorce. Baruch Hashem, I don't know about it. Yeah, but yeah, they have to assess. So it has to be assessed by BSD of 3 people. Yeah, if you don't do that, you can't just take your part of the story and al das atzmecho to decide that that's 50%. I'm sorry, nobody's against you. It's just not fair, to split like that without professional assessment while your partner is clearly unhappy. Gufa Rav Nachman. Yeah, no questions for the next 10 minutes. Thank you. Gufa, or until we get to the Mishnah, whatever happens first. Either 10 minutes or get to the Mishnah, but that's a goal today. We're going to Ben Azmanim soon. Gufa, Omar Rav Nachman. Let's now delve into the statement made by Rav Nachman. Zuzi keman depligi damu. What did Rav Nachman say? When you split zuzim, in other words, you have cash, money, and one partner decides to take 50% home and break and say goodbye. then what do we say? It's as if it's already split. The other partner cannot complain. It happened to be in the same envelope, but there's no quality here. Yeah. Therefore, however, we qualify Rav Nachman's statement. If there were good coins on both sides, in other words, all the coins were good ones, good in the eyes of everyone, or whatever. Let all thin ones take 50, or tkuli, the ones that are not so good, like or shokel, maybe tkuli means they weigh more. The heavier ones, they're all heavy. They all have the same weight. The heavier ones, it took 50% of the heavy. The other 50% of the heavy ones are there. No problem. If you have a mixture there of different kinds of coins, you have better coins and not so good coins, yeah? Then no, then you have to assess only by BSD. Rav Chama. Oh, now we come to unbelievable, the question which we had all along. Big Ashkafi question, a big basic fundamental question, which you guys were asking, which Chuvas Sarashba talks about. Why is ribbis so bad? Why is ribbis such a bad thing? Why can't I say, if I rent you my car, let's say I rent you out my car for a month, for Pesach, all the running around, no way I would do that, yeah, before Pesach. Yeah, I have a car clean for Pesach, I rent it out for a month. Of course I take money. Obviously, how much is it per month? I don't know, 2,000 shekels, yeah, 5-seater. Yeah, what about if you rent out your money? Also take money. Yeah. Right? In other words, I rented out my money. I gave you 1,000 shekel for a month. I want for 1,000 shekels, 100 shekel for renting out my money. The Torah says it's osur. But is there a way that it could be mutar? Let's say I rephrase it. Let's try and be smart and sticky and say, I'm not lending you, I'm renting out my money. In other words, I'm renting out, making an agreement. I'm renting out a car. I rent boots. I don't know what I rent out. I rent my computer. And I rent out my money. I'm not lending, I'm renting out my money, and I want for every day of rental 1 shekel. That's very nice. Well, is it? Says the Gemara, listen to this, Rav Chama, Amoire. Rav Chama the Moiger Zuzi. Rav Chama would rent out his money, his Zuzim, bepshita leyoima. For every day you use my money, you have to pay me a pshita, which is a small coin. Yeah, a small nominal fee every day. Nominal is like a small fee, right? Every day you have to pay me, I don't know, 1 shekel a day. That's very cheap now. 10 shekels a day for that. At the end of the month, 300 shekels. Very nice. Yeah. 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 Kalu Zuzi de Rav Chama. What happened to Rav Chama? All his money went down the drain. Because the Gemara says later that a person who lends money by ribbis, nechosav mismoitetim. His money is going to go down the drain. His money collapses, implodes. Yeah, there's no bracha in money made by lending out beribis. Yeah, you think you make it big, Hashem will make sure that the money somehow gets lost down the drain. So Rav Chama got that punishment all of a sudden, and he thought what he was doing is mutter because he rented it. He didn't see it as halva. He saw it as a rental, and he thought what he was doing is okay. The Torah says not to be malve. Who sovar? He thought, who Rav Chama mistakenly thought, Maishnami Mara. What's the difference between money and Mara? Mara is either a hoe or like a spade. Mara is something you dig with. Spade, hoe. Yeah. So when I rent out my gardening tools, you have gardening tools? I don't. Yeah, your gardening scissors, your gardening whatever that is. What? Shovel, the whole hose. Yeah, all these things. I'm sure you know about it. You have a very nice garden. I know in England. So Maishnami Mara. What's the difference? Yeah. In other words, I rent out my gardening tools, my drill to be more urban. I rent out my drill for a month for money. I rent out my money for money. What's the difference? As you're asking, what's the difference? What? What's the difference between kli and money? True, but so what? You're in the right direction, but so what? There are two differences between renting out a kli, whatever you call it in English, a utensil, a vessel, a tool. There's a difference between this and money. Why? Two differences. Mara hadra be'ene. The mara, I really am losing something. Why? Mara supposed to come back. The same mara supposed to come back be'ena, right? And I don't know the more. Yeah, en alva. Yeah, which means like this. The mara hadra be'ena. The Gemara phrases interesting way. Rashi says the mora comes back, the same mora comes back, right? That's a fact. If I rent you out the drill, I expect the very same drill to come back, right? What happens if the drill is Let's say you pay me money, you're soicher, are you chai be'oinsin? No, no, you're not. No, the soicher, you paid me money, you're not chai be'oinsin. If I gave it to you for free, although you're potter be'oinsin, but you potter be'mesa machmas, you chai be'oinsin, but you potter be'mesa machmas malacha. The drill, as you're working hard with the drill, part of the normal, the drill died and was part of the normal use of the drill. Yeah, and you just, its time came, or as you were working with it, it died part of the work. That's it. You're potter, which means when I rent you out the drill, if it had it been without money, when I lend you a drill without money, I'm taking a risk of you not coming back with the drill, either be'oinsin or mes machamas mocha. Even Shoyel, the one's most responsible of the four shomrim, he still has the way out of mes machamas malacha. You're going to argue? Come to BSD On, Erev Pesach. Crazy. So I risk a lot by giving you my drill for free. Secondly, the idea pachte, and also there's clear wear and tear. My drill after a month of you building the sukkah, okay, Erev Pesach, Erev Sukkot, whatever, yeah, you use my drill, I can see it's been used for a month. I have every right in the world for those two reasons. Yeah, I'm risking not getting it back at all. With your nice words, you may be truthful about oines, machmas, malocha, pa. Plus the fact that the car, after being driven for a month by a teenager, does not look the same. Let's continue. And right, new design for the car. And however, Zuzi when you rent out your money, yeah, so to speak, when you lend money, you're not risking anything. Why? Could be the guy's going to give you a hard time, not give it back, but legally speaking, there's no way out. There's no oinsin by money. Milve loitzo nitna, something every Torah learner should know about pay to wake you up in the middle of the night. Milva, I'm not expecting the same money back. Yeah, you borrowed it to show your kids how an American dollar looks like. You borrow money to use, obviously. So I don't care if those oinsin or mesa machmas malacha ma kesher. I'm supposed to get $2 million back into my account in a month's time. So there's no, halachically at least, there's no risk. There's a risk that I'll be a swindler, but halacha never backs a loive. A loive anyhow is always mechuyev. Secondly, loya dapachte, there's no wear and tear. Even if you gave you back the same money, let's say you never got to use it. You became very rich in one night, won the lottery, got Yerusha, he gave you back the very same envelope. There's no pras. By money is the same money. There's no wear and tear by money. And therefore, because by money, you don't risk as much as you risk by renting out kalim, mimela, the ribbis is not justified. And here comes the answer, where the Torah's hashkafa is that ribbis should be given for free. That's not the whole reason, but it's part of the reason. And even if you, so to speak, whitewash the words and use politically correct words, and I'm not saying lending, I'm saying renting, sorry, it doesn't make a difference. It's the same money. You're not really renting the money. You're not renting the money, you're lending the money. The haraya, the same money will come back. Just prove the difference. Amarove, quick, do me a favor, one more case. Amarove, a person is allowed to tell his friend who wants to be in the game, I'm telling, let's say, yeah, Peretz, you're a very nice guy, and let's say I know that somebody there, Peretz, yeah, I know there's a guy over there called Shimon, he's not in the group, really needs money. I'm allowed to tell my friend Peretz, I'm giving you now 4 zuzim, that's a nice amount of money. The uzpei leplania zuzi. I'm giving you money, Peretz, that guy over there, Shimon, he really needs a loan. Please lend him 200 pounds, and I will give you in advance 4 pounds. So you got money for the fact you lent 200 pounds. I gave you money. You gained from that, and that's allowed. Why is that? You got the story. There are 3 people here. There's me, the malve, and the loive. He's not a shliach. Shliach means he's not a shliach. He's a self-appointed shliach. He's not working for anybody. You guys, I'm sorry. No. Yeah, I am the one of the kochalefel. I'm the interfering guy. I know the other guy needs money, so I'm telling my friend here, Peretz, to lend the other guy money. There are 3 people. I'm the initiator. I'm the one who gets the initiative. I'm the big Baal Chesed here. I don't have money of my own, otherwise I would have given. I'm telling you, maybe if you have 200 pounds, you lend him 200 pounds, and I know it's difficult for you, so you take my 4 pounds, my 4 zuzim, to give him 200. That's allowed, yeah? Reuben tells Shimon, please, you give Levi. Why is that? It's not so simple, because at the end of the day, he really lent money and he got money. Maybe that's ribbis. But
the same party.
Oh, answers that we need the Gemara to say that. Yeah, you're right, but we need the Gemara to say that. The ribbis the Torah forbade is only from the loive to the malve and not from Mr. Third party to the malve, which is the chiddush, my friend. If you remember the beginning of the perek, ribbis and neshech are two separate entities. One could claim that he got ribbis even with the other guy getting neshech. Tamash Malan, we don't say that. Go to the very first sugya, you understand it's a chiddush over here. Yep, okay. Now, okay, Vomarov, we'll continue tomorrow. It's time. Okay, questions and comments are very welcome. Thank you, everybody in Torah Anytime, YouTube, and everybody here in the room. And thank you. Have a great, great, great day.